When I think back to childhood, I remember waiting and waiting for Christmas Eve. The hush of snow, the glow in the window, the image of Santa Claus crossing the night sky with Rudolph at the lead. It felt simple then. However, my friends, did you know that the fairy tales we grew up with are not just stories to entertain children, but keys to something far older and far greater? Tonight, I will tell you that it carries an ancient secret about language and signs, about stars and directions, about the Creator and love. To open this door, we must look to ancient history, to languages and characters, to symbols, and to the knowledge that survived. I speak with no allegiance to any nation or religion. I speak to reveal truth. After the era of the lost continents, Mu and Atlantis, there were those who foresaw the disaster and moved in advance to safe lands, and those who survived. From them came the strands of history we know, the great ancient empires, Sumer, Assyria, Egypt, Persia, Greece, India, and even the Inca in the Americas. Many do not see that it was done by the ancient Koreans who spread their knowledge and civilization across the world. Human history has flowed in light and shadow, shaped by arrogance, the desire for power, and the urge to dominate. Without a change of our hearts, even if humanity reaches the stars, conflict will not end. This is one reason I now speak. To approach the secret, we focus on language and script. After Mu, ancient Koreans traveled widely, carrying knowledge, science, language, and writing. What we now call Chinese characters, Hanzi, pictographs, were first conceived and used at the highest level by these ancient Koreans. And Sanskrit was a dialect, a branch connected to their tongue. When we combine Korean with Hanja, we begin to see truths that have been in front of us all along. Now, Santa Claus, the name we all know, carries a hidden meaning. Santa, in Spanish, comes from saint, meaning sacred. But in Korean, san means mountain, and ta means to burn, as in the mountain burns. This refers to a burning pyramid, which has long been a sacred image in human history. For example, the origin of the word polis, meaning city, comes from an ancient phrase where po referred to the northern god, li in Hanja meaning village, and su representing the pyramid shape in old Chinese characters. Thus, polis originally meant a sacred temple or tower of God built in his village, a place so significant in scale that it became known as a city. It is no wonder that such an origin came to be. Why the pyramid is sacred is a vast subject in itself, which we will address another time. Cross here symbolizes the four sacred forces that emanate from God himself, a rotating divine cross, seen also in the Buddhist manji symbol. Rudolph is a composite of words. Ru comes from the Hanzi, Jew, pronounced Jew in Korean, meaning Lord or Master, as in Lord God. Du comes from Dao, meaning way or path, as in moral way, the way of the universe. And elf symbolizes the Creator God. According to the spiral markings created by the early settlers of Britain, visitors would walk along the rotating spiral path toward the center, then place a small stone they had brought onto the central pile of stones, known as the elf, and make a wish. This custom is believed to be the origin of the story, that if you make a wish to Santa Claus, he will give you a present. In truth, however, it comes from the belief that if you pray to God who dwells within us, your wish will be fulfilled. Therefore, Rudolph represents the four sacred forces emanating from the Creator God. Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, pulls the sleigh just as the bent ends of the manji turn with the energy of creation. The glowing red nose of Rudolph is no coincidence. It represents the radiant center of our galaxy. Even the domes of Middle Eastern mosques, perfectly rounded, carry the same symbolic origin. It also symbolizes the Creator God. Why are there 8 reindeer? This comes from the Eastern Palgui, which represents the 8 directions, expanded from the 4 sacred forces. since ancient times. Each of these directions and energies has been represented by symbolic animals. These include the 4 divine beasts, the azure dragon of the east, the white tiger of the west, the vermilion bird of the south, and the black tortoise of the north, as well as the 12 earthly guardians, each linked to the zodiac cycle. From there, it expands further into 16-fold and 32-fold systems, patterns once used in navigation, astronomy, and sacred architecture to capture the finest movements of the heavens. Even the arrangement of the Taeguk, the flag of Korea, and the layout of many Islamic mosques follow this pattern. The trigrams, or Gungan Gamri, forming the 4 great expressions of God's sacred force. This sacred geometry extends to the domes, towers, and rose windows of Notre Dame, to the city plan of Paris, and to the 8 and 12 directional divisions found in ancient design. The compass and square of the Freemasons are born from this principle, the compass symbolizing the rotating universe, the square symbolizing the sleigh that carries divine gifts. Patterns seen in NATO's emblem, Tory Burch, and Louis Vuitton trace back to this sacred geometry. Hans Christian Andersen wrote The Wild Swans, the tale where princes are cursed and turned into swans, and their sister endures silence and suffering to save them. The Brothers Grimm recorded The Frog Prince, in which a prince is cursed into the form of a frog, only to be restored by love. These stories, though different, share the same transformation and redemption pattern. The Frog Prince itself drew inspiration from far older myths of the moon, stories of the rabbit and the toad living within it. Such tales are not isolated creations. They are fragments of the same ancient knowledge, the cosmic directions, the constellations, the sacred animals tied to their energies. Whether swan, frog, dragon, or deer, they all speak of the same truth. Even today, echoes of this sacred geometry remain. The logo and name of Ethereum are inspired by the pyramid. Beneath the Great Pyramid of Giza, there is said to be an inverted pyramid made of an invisible substance called ether, much like the underground structure beneath the glass pyramid of the Louvre Museum. The name Ethereum comes from ether and the Latin eum, meaning place or space. And so this holy cross, this pattern of divine forces, has been with humanity from the very beginning. Santa Claus originates from the Merkabah Pyramid, the union of the pyramid and the Hiranya, possibly the essence of the universe itself. In the past, this was what the Egyptian sage Thoth held. The Cheon Bu Gyeong, of 81 characters, passed down in Korea since ancient times, and the 81-character stone tablet discovered in the Sea of Japan are in fact blueprints of the Merkabah Pyramid itself. The Korean folk song Arirang offers us an important clue for our time. Arirang, Surirang, Arario. My dear, who abandons me will not go even 10 li before their feet grow weary. Here, Ar represents the Hiranya, and Su symbolizes the pyramid. Thus, Arirang, Surirang represents the union of the Hiranya and the pyramid, the Merkabah Pyramid, which in turn points to Ararai, from Ara to know, egg, and Li, village or principle, meaning the place of enlightenment. According to an old prophecy, after the era of COVID, an unimaginable plague will arise. Those who have not filled themselves with love will fall ill, so rare in survival that one may not find even a single soul within 4 kilometers. It is likely that this song carries a message to seek help through the Merkabah Pyramid. I think that the Bodhi tree, under which the Buddha attained enlightenment, may symbolically represent this very pyramid. The word Bodhi in Sanskrit comes from the root Bud, which means to awaken, to know, to become aware. In Buddhism, it signifies the state of perfect enlightenment, freedom from all delusion. Yet phonetically, Bodhi resonates with the sound buri, or burning, in some symbolic readings, and in ancient symbolic traditions, it was often associated with light and flames. The word Su, tree, while literally meaning a tree, can also symbolically represent a pyramid. Thus, the Bodhi tree could be understood as the burning pyramid, not as an exaggeration, but perhaps as the ultimate metaphor for enlightenment itself. It is said that the DNA of our human body, the universe itself, and even the dark matter that makes up the universe are all composed of the Merkabah Pyramid, the union of the Hiranya and the pyramid. If until now this has been kept secret in human history for certain purposes, then perhaps the time has come for everyone to know and awaken. That is also the reason why I am revealing this secret, even if belatedly. No matter how far human civilization and science advance, if our hearts do not change through love, we will journey into space, ride UFOs, and still wage war. Love is the key that unlocks all magic. Perhaps the great path a Lord God Himself shows us. Thank you for listening. This has been Santa Muse. May you always be happy and healthy.
The